Hi, my name is Mark Neumann. I built the Universal Explorer, the LL2016. And one of the first things I love about this thing is the engine. So on the back end, we got the lights that come out of it. And those lights are little lighting modules with a magnet on the back of it. They plug right in there, they snap in, you turn them on, and you get some great light out of it. And then we got our motion here on the back. There's a little bit of a rotating action, and then our spinning ring. The spinning ring is great. We've got a little motor there with these little bogies pushing outwards. It's holding the ring in place and spins around. We got Benny on the adventure as he goes round and round. Next, we move up to what I call the cargo module. The cargo module is designed much like how our shipping industry is. We have a shipping container. Each container I've loaded down with various stuff, and then it fits into a modular system which can be carried by the space truck, or as I like to call it, the Space Pork Chop Express.
You got a whole shipping system set up here.
I definitely did. And then as it moves on, we got our lander module. The lander module has these docking clamps, which allows our lander ships, this one's set up with some passengers inside. The ship will slide onto the ship here. And as it slides into place, you release the docking clamps, they snap into place, and the ship is now docked to the mothership. Now we move on here to the science lab. We have a bunch of scientists that are working on various space rocks, which have been recovered by a transport truck here on the inside. And the scientists, if they like, can use these grabber arms, which stow inside the module. And they reach out and grab things, and they can examine or do whatever they want with them. And then we move on here to the living module. On this side, we have the restaurant. On the other side is the cantina, the bar, with our little arboretum up on top. One of my favorite things here is we have the UFO alien who is unnerved by spiders, and Spider-Man has to protect his pet spider there. Moving on here, I called this one the midships. The midships has the bridge on it, as well as these little small transport ships, which sit on these sliders, and then the individual ships can dock off and go take off to whatever the spacemen need to go do. And then when done, they just come back, land on their appropriate slider, and go right back into stowage. Our cargo ship, which just so happened to make it so that the Benny spaceship could fit inside, not actually designed that way, but I was pleasantly surprised when he could land it in there. And there's again a couple lights in there, make it nice and lit up. You have lots of fun making all kinds of things go on there. We've got the bridge built up on here, and then another kind of second bridge underneath it. There is a large kind of barrel gun on the front end with a light behind it, and our two little bays here up top, which slide over, and it can kind of cover, as I like to call it, the probe bay. Some people call them missiles. I don't know. Maybe what the minifigs do with it is entirely up to them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the LL2016 Universal Explorer.
That is really impressive. I love all the different moving parts you've gotten and everything. That's so cool. So how does this break down then for kind of transportation when you move this thing around? How does that work?
Well, there's a set of interlocks in between each module. Here's a sample of where two modules join in between the living and the other. And this section, this one's going to get stuck. Here is one of the clamps as I begin to put it out there. It seats back in. Here's another example of one of the interlocks. As you pull those apart, each one of these sections will fall free, and you can store it, move it. The fun thing is you can then rebuild the ship any way you want it. The modules can go in different orders. You can subtract them. It's actually a lot of fun to take just the front and the engine and put them together, and then you have this really wild kind of short ship.
Right. What would you say is the hardest part of designing a build like this? It's so massive, so many different moving parts. What was the toughest part for you?
The toughest part was finally deciding on the standard, because it does have the standard kind of lock system. Was coming up and finally deciding how far apart they needed to be, how tall apart they were, and how high off the table it needs to be. Once you got that down, then it was just a matter of, cool, let's just add on the next section.
And so is space something you build a lot of? Is this kind of something you've built up to, or is this just, I want to build a massive spaceship and you went for it?
I've been wanting to build a big spaceship again for a couple years now, and I settled on a design. And as I just started going into it, I'm like, okay, here we go. And I started with the front, went to the back, and about 4 months later, I had the whole ship.
Yeah, that's really neat. And I think we need to talk about what you're wearing here real quick. I love this space jersey. So where is this from?
It's actually from a website called Geeky Jerseys, and it's just one of their designs that they have. It's kind of a cool website. After you make this video, I should call them up and say, hey, you owe me. But yeah, it's one of their many geeky designs.
It fits really well with your space theme you've got going on here.
Definitely. And I picked the number for the match my ship, number 47. I've got the 47 on the back here. It goes with an old employee number I had where I used to work, so I claimed it. I'm calling my number 47.
There you go. Well, that's super cool. Thanks for talking with me about it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kind of proud of. We got our little locks here underneath. The lander buggy can come down, and then you release the wheel locks and it can roll out. But again, it was a ship that I made to go with this, so it's all part of the fleet.